Hey folks, Hammeh here. Some news about upcoming content plans for Overwatch. Now, in a dev update released today, Jeff Kaplan, game director, gave us a bit more info on what we can expect to see in the coming months. A couple of interesting things, new heroes, new maps, and more news, so stay tuned. First up, new heroes. Now, there's a new hero far along, going to see the light of day sooner rather than later, so I'm not going to kill that one to death anymore. Let's cover it and move on. If it's not Sombra at Blizzcon in November 2016, just after the Dead celebration perhaps would go quite nicely with her Sugar Skull motif, then Blizzard have fooled us all in a masterstroke whilst possibly killing the buzz for Sombra more than Buzz Killington could. Very unlikely it'll be anything else, I'd laugh so hard. Now, more interestingly, Kaplan mentioned another hero prototype that looks promising that Blizzard have in development. Only placeholder models and effects, trying to prove it to be fun. It's totally in development mode at the moment, but will probably come out at some point next year. So there's loads of cool candidates. Who could this be? Now, we've had a few new agents introduced in comics such as Legacy, Kimiko, Mirembe for example, this mysterious individual in Ana's original trailer, the person on the cover of First Strike who could be Liao, the last unidentified member of the Overwatch original strike team, Doomfist, Athena. Time to crack out the hero speculation again soon, I think. Who would you like to see most? Do let me know in the comments. Next up, some interesting news on new maps. Now, one was mentioned by Kaplan as being very far along, already to the extent where they're adding art, and apparently it's going to be very cool in terms of appearance and the story behind it. So this is interesting. The fact that art's being added means that it's quite far along. This makes it quite possible that we could get an announcement at BlizzCon perhaps, and outside, only a month's time. So what could be very cool? Well, loads of stuff. I've speculated a bit on future maps before in the video link below. Got Eichenwalder right since April. Personally, I'd love Junkertown, the post-apocalyptic style place that Junkrat and Roadhog lived after the Australian Omnium's fusion core was destroyed in an attack by the Australian Liberation Front. Maybe a Korean themed map around Diva and the massive kaiju style Godzilla Omnic that rises out of the sea every few years. How about the ruins of the Overwatch HQ in Switzerland that was destroyed by Morrison and Reyes in that apocalyptic confrontation 6 years ago from the original day? 6 years ago from today in the timeline. So many cool ideas that Overwatch can explore in the future, loads of cool lore stuff, so I'm really looking forward to a new map, and the fact that it could be soon, absolutely awesome. Now, interestingly, there's another map that's only in prototype stage, and it's going to take a bit longer. Now, it's worth noting that Kaplan mentioned both of these are on pre-existing game modes. I'm calling this out because it was also mentioned that a number of maps are in testing on new game modes. Apparently they're hard to balance because they're trying to make maps and game modes that have good balance for all heroes, and also we were told that a lot of stuff gets built that never sees the light of day. Now that makes a bunch of sense. Overwatch's current set of maps clearly have strengths and weaknesses, as we know well, for different heroes, depending on the mode, environment, and similar. It sounds like a challenge, but a cool one. As an old Team Fortress Classic player, Dad76 moment, I'd love Capture the Flag, but that's probably not something you can have balanced for all heroes. It's interesting that Blizzard are trying to make stuff inclusive, so I'm thinking maybe more brawls, but I'd love to see some more competitive modes and things coming into quick play. Hope some of it makes it to the light of day. So when can we expect all this goodness? Well, just as a quick thought, we've had hero, content event, and then map. So Ana, Summer Games, and then Eichenwalder. And we should be expecting a hero at BlizzCon, Sombra. So maybe there's a chance for a map at BlizzCon being announced, but actually being playable later this year after Sombra's been through the public test realm. And then another content event, and then maybe a new hero, perhaps I'd say sometime March to May next year. If you get beyond May, then you're looking to get into the summer season, there's E3 happening, and then there's also Gamescom and similar. What this doesn't leave loads of room for, of course, if you look at that as a release schedule, is Halloween, the event that everyone's keen on for the possibility of Witch Mercy, Torbjorn, and other similarly themed skins, like in this picture we've seen, Genji talking about his Halloween costume in this line, and a whole bunch more. I still reckon there's some possibility for skins and voice lines to drop in the next few weeks, but it may not be a full-fledged on event like the Summer Games, with a new game mode, for example, like Lucio Ball. Perhaps it could just be the crates? Still, Summer Games was a surprise, so I'll be happy to be proved wrong. In the dev update, there are also a couple of other things. So Symetra was covered. I've covered this in another video, but Mr. Kaplan actually added a few interesting things. Follow up to the interview he did with Business Insider that I covered in this video link below. They're looking at more large changes, as Kaplan had previously mentioned. Numbers, cooldown, playstyle, or even a kit change, and therefore it's going to be something a little bit bigger that may take a bit more time. The one thing that Jeff did mention that is quite interesting is that she's not going to be tweaked to be a healer. The team very much feel apparently that that's not what she is. They'd rather even move her category, high defense, rather than make her something that she's not, in the words from the update. I think that's perfectly fair enough. If they don't want Symetra to be a healer and she's going to get a big kit rework, then maybe she'll actually just move into the defensive category. Jeff did mention that changes could be as soon as mid-November, but it all depends on how their schedule goes. They could be a bit longer depending on how big the rework is. So going to be interesting to see that. Finally, there was a bit of a roundup on changes of quality of life and the stuff that's already on the PTR. Another call out on top of the video that I already did covering this. Genji can't dash through Junkrat traps anymore. That makes that consistent because tracers, when they blink, get stuck in the trap. The spectator mode changes that have already been covered, they're going to make watching esports a whole bunch better, which is really going to be cool to see. And last but not least, in an upcoming update, there are going to be more voice lines and emotes. That could go with the Halloween style mini update, for example, but Jeff also mentioned that there might be ways of using them all at once, which is something that the community have requested. This is the option for perhaps random voice lines, random skins, ability to change skins before the game starts when you're in warm-up, and other things like that. So that could be quite a cool, nice little tweak. Okay, so what do you think of that news? Are you looking forward to BlizzCon? What do you think is going to be dropped apart from Sombra at this stage? And who would you like to see as a new hero? And any ideas for this new map that's apparently very far along in the pipeline? Really excited by that. Of course, September was a little bit more of a quiet month on the Overwatch front, so it's good to have this update from the team, and great to see that we've got some really cool content coming to us pretty soon, perhaps even at the end of this month or sometime in November. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments below. My latest hero lore and interactions vid is up. Do go and check out that Mercy vid linked here, and a whole bunch more stuff coming soon. Cheers for tuning in. I've been Hammeh. Take it easy.